join us
Okay.
tonight.
I
I'm
think
just
this
waiting
is
for
it.
6 o'clock so
Oh,
that,
and then we can
so
be
that, yeah.
official.
We can do the official
then we
kickoff.
do official kickoff kind of thing.
All right, I'll shut up.
And to see if we have any public that join us.
Supposed to be one coming.
You ready? All right. Good evening. It is 6:01 p.m. and this is the first 2025 meeting of the Advisory Budget Committee. And we'll do some welcome and introductions in the roll call. To my left is Joe Dane. To his left is Nan Bartlett, our brand new this year member. Thank you very much, Nan.
You're welcome.
I'm Sharon Schilling. To my right is Doug McAllister. And to his right is Deb Parsons, who is our representative from the school board. So would stand up and say the Pledge of Allegiance. I'll lead. I always make everybody else do it.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. At this point, I would ask for any public comment, but we don't have any public. But if there's something anybody would like to talk about that's not currently on the agenda, we can talk about it here. No? Okay, I do have one thing to add to the agenda that I forgot to put on here, is the CIP, which is a critical infrastructure, listen to me, I'm back in my old days, the capital improvement plan.
We knew what you meant.
Right, the planning board did finally take that back on, and they have a board or a committee that they're working, and they had been looking for a advisory budget committee member to sit on that subcommittee and support them. If any of you are interested in it, let me know, and we can forward that name. I don't know when they're gonna start to meet, but I think it's gotta be soon, because they gotta be able to develop a CIP in time for us to review it and take a look at it and provide input to it, and and get it before the budget committee or before the select board, so that they can include it in the budget, whatever needs to be put in the budget. So if you're interested in that. Anyone? No? Well, you can't, because I can't have you do it, you're a school board person, so.
Can I let you know?
Yes, of course you
I mean,
can,
just-
right.
I don't want to take on anything else right now.
No, I know, and if
And
you're
I'm
not
kinda
able,
new, so
I
I
know,
don't.
and if you're not able to do it, I mean, I was doing it with Joy, Joy and I did
Okay.
it last year, so I'm happy to take it on and fulfill that
A
role.
lot of the framework is already
Done, yeah.
You know,
It's
Ned
mostly filling in
Rogerson
numbers.
started it several years ago, and then Joy and
Right.
Sharon really kind
Okay.
of put,
And, we've expanded
expanded, put
the
it
scope of it, and it used to be only like a 5 to 10 year, we've made it 20 years, so.
so it's pretty comprehensive,
Yeah.
so.
So,
Okay.
A lot of the groundwork
footwork
has
is
been
done.
done, yeah.
right,
Okay.
and now it's mostly validating numbers, putting the numbers in, looking to see what it comes out.
Okay.
Are there things that can move, talking with the various entities to say, okay, you want a new police car in 2026, does that really make sense? We've got a lot of other expenses, can we wait till 2027 to do it? Like the first quarter of 2027 instead of the last quarter of 2026 kind of thing, so, yeah,
So we're
those are,
looking for a member
yeah,
to
member
be on
for-
that committee?
to be on that committee,
Okay.
to be the advisory budget committee representative to that,
The CIP?
to the CIP.
I'm just trying to take minutes. I'm not very good at this.
No, you
That's all right.
please,
No,
what
you're
what I'll
doing
do is
well.
I'll get you to send them to me, I'll mix them with mine and anyone else's who's taken them. And then we'll put them together and I'll send them to Linda and everybody else who can take a look at it, and if I've forgotten something or misrepresented something, you can call me out on it and say, no, that's not how it went.
And they're always available on YouTube.
True, you can always go back to YouTube and
Oh.
watch it. Member needed. Okay, then, so moving on from, any other public comment or any other questions about things that are not necessarily on the agenda is not like strict, like we can only talk about stuff that's on the agenda. We can talk about anything else, so if something comes up and you think of it, by all means, let me know.
I could give you an update on some of the projects.
How about if, well.
Is there a place where that would fit? I don't have a lot of specifics, but,
Okay, well, no, let's do it now.
okay. So a couple of the projects that are either happening or have already happened is, the new gym floor.
Ooh, nice.
So that was, I think that was started was gonna start relatively soon after our last meeting, which was the 23rd of June. So it could even be done. We have a meeting Monday, so I'll have more information after that. But there was kind of some discussion on whether there was going to be pickleball court lines on the floor. And then there was also discussion that the emblem of the Mustang in the middle, were not in the initial project price out, and decided against the pickleball court lines because it's means a lot of lines beyond the regular gym lines, and yes to the emblem in the middle. So I'm thinking it's completed because Old Home Week usually uses the gym, but also there was some approval of some driveway stuff and the bathrooms getting renovated upstairs in the newer part of the building.
So back to the Mustang emblem in the middle, since that wasn't part of the original bid or the original approval.
There
I'm
was
sure
talk
it's
that
good.
it's gonna take us a little bit over budget than what was in the warrant article. But since it was in the CIP to be done, not this year, but next year, we thought we could take the few $100s we go over maybe from the CIP to cover the overage.
Can you legally do that without,
I think it
I don't
wasn't,
think so.
I don't think
I know, excuse me, wasn't it under, they were gonna take the funds from money that was already in building projects or something? Cause there was one suggestion, maybe we'd take it from the year-end fund balance.
Yes, that was
And that was-
discussed and that was not really
No.
something that certain board members were. So there's only been discussion that we don't actually know what, until it's done, what it actually comes in at.
I was gonna say, what's the
So-
cost estimate for something like this?
Yeah.
It was the 125
No, but
No,
to
for
the
the
additional
emblem.
work for the
It's a couple
emblem.
No,
thousand,
it wasn't.
wasn't
If we were
Couple
gonna be
$1,000
over by the
or something.
estimate,
Okay.
it was only gonna take us over by a couple $100. It
Oh,
wasn't,
okay.
it wasn't
Alright.
gonna be.
So it's not super expensive.
But it's not capital.
It was
The
in the
building
capital
fund.
reserve
That is.
fund to replace the floor in 2027.
To replace the
Floor.
No,
floor.
but not the emblem,
not
what
necessarily
wasn't
the
listed.
emblem.
Oh, that's part of the floor
I know, but
replacement.
Was
So-
there an emblem on the floor to
No.
begin with? No.
no, I don't
No.
remember
Yeah,
seeing
so-
one.
No.
No.
All right, well, regardless,
Whatever,
if you can
yeah.
get an update and let us know so that,
Those are all things that we'll get an update on Monday on where the projects are at, if they're finished, if they're not.
It's been busy over there with.
yeah, so for,
Because they have summer school going on at the same time too, so having to get all those projects done while that's going on is hard.
yeah, and I think every school is always in that situation. I mean,
Yeah.
the middle school is replacing windows and,
Yeah, but they're all at Conway.
so,
So we can't clean our rooms. Everybody's having summer school at Conway
Same time,
Intermediate
yeah.
School, so.
yeah, because you couldn't get close to the building. But for your purposes in going back on Monday then, we would be interested in knowing if there is an overage from,
Any of the
adding the
projects.
emblem, just specifically adding the emblem, because it was a change. The original work order, from my understanding, was to replace the floor. There was no emblem on the floor. Now we're adding scope to the project a little bit. And I get that it might only be a couple $100, but I think for full transparency, and that's one of the other things we'll talk about is, the idea is making sure that organizations understand that while they may understand what's going on, not always the rest of the town does, and being fully transparent with what things are being done and how they're being done and where the money's coming from is really important.
Right, and I think the hard part about this particular project, is that the money was voted on without any kind of bid or knowledge of, like, a townsperson brought this warrant article forward. It wasn't researched by the board, or there wasn't a plan or a quote or anything going in, so we didn't get the quote until after the taxpayers actually approved the money. So there wasn't an actual, to the warrant, there wasn't an actual, this is what's gonna be done for that amount of money.
Right, but there was something in the CIP that gave them an estimate, or, like an earmark in
Yeah,
this,
but
and
it
that's what they
wasn't-
used.
I
so.
mean, the kind of floor was kind of discussed as the person was bringing the warrant article forward, so it was not a board endeavor to begin with, because it was in the CIP for 2027, so that's when they were gonna do
Yeah.
that work, so that's what made this a little different, in that this was not a project brought forth by the school board, it was brought forth by a townsperson. Which,
We're on camera.
yeah, I don't think it's not the way I, as a board member, would want to do business
right.
moving
Then I
forward.
think it's, and this is one of the other things that I wanna talk about, I think as board members, whether it be a school board or this committee, I think we have a responsibility that when we get that, like, tight-jawed feeling, like, oh, this is not the way this should be happening,
Right.
we need to speak out. We need to be more vocal. And if that's not the way that this should have happened, then Jim Curran and every other member of that board has a responsibility to say, we hear what you're saying and we agree with you that the floor needs to be replaced. However, short of having a pull it from your butt estimate, which is basically what happened, we, voting on this at this particular moment doesn't make sense. We have it in the CIP to do it for next year. We will be researching and getting legitimately 3 bids, as opposed to now getting 3 bids that come in under the
Right,
number that
right.
that the companies already know
Oh, yeah.
you voted on. So if you could have gotten it for $78,000, you're not gonna get it for that now, you're gonna get it for $125.
Right.
Because they know that's what we voted on. So I do think it's our responsibility, and I know it's uncomfortable, I know it's hard, and there are times when I don't necessarily do it either, but I think we have to be strong and we have to do it. We
Well,
have to
the
say.
school board was called on it. I mean, in other words, it was pointed out they didn't do their due diligence, and whether it's a couple $100 or 2,000, you are over.
You are over.
And
And what's the
the
plan?
quote came from a parent, coach,
Right.
whatever. It didn't come, they didn't do their due diligence.
Well, and there was assertions made at the
Right.
deliberative that that amount of money would cover the cost.
I know, we
Exactly.
asked that question.
Yes,
So where's your bids and
Right.
is this an accurate price?
right.
Yeah, we can do it for that.
Yeah, and so
Yeah.
I think that
Mhm.
we get yelled at, or not yelled at, or
Yeah.
we get
Called for.
called
For-
on
yeah.
Mhm,
and
mhm.
called for when we start to probe those questions. And if you go back and look at some of the previous meetings, you'll see, we get told, like, well, you don't trust people. It's not a matter of trust. It's a matter of verifying. It's a matter of
Do it
verifying
the right way.
and things being done, a correct process.
Openly.
And openly, correct. So those things I think are important, and we're going to continue to I think reinforce that all year. And if you see something, where you're uncomfortable and you think that this isn't the way this should be done, and we're not saying anything about it, kick us under the table and write a note that says this is wrong. And then we'll confer and figure out. And if you as an individual aren't necessarily comfortable speaking up, then I'll do it. Well, presuming you will, because the next thing is voting for chair and vice chair. So,
He'll do it.
yeah. Okay, anything else on the school update
I'm
then?
trying to think. I'm just gonna look back at the.
You haven't gotten your board packets yet?
We just got it today,
Okay,
so I haven't had a
curious.
chance to read it.
Yeah, normally we would have our meeting the day after you have your board meeting, so, because we meet on the Tuesdays, you guys usually meet the first Monday of the month.
Yeah, we meet this coming Monday. Nothing is coming to mind. There's been, not budgetary matters. I have the proposals for the bathroom renovation. But again, I won't know if that's started or how far they have
Yeah.
until Monday.
Okay, so our next meeting, we'll get an update from you on those things.
Yep.
Okay, I'll have to remember to put in section 3A, school board update. Okay. And school board update to future agendas. Okay, anything else? No, all right, well then we'll move on. During our first meeting, it's usually the responsibility of this committee to elect a chair and a vice chair. I would suggest that, I was the chair last year, Joe is the vice chair. Deb can't do it, because as a ex officio member, you cannot hold a chair or vice chair position. Nan, you're brand new, I'm thinking
No,
you don't
thank
want
you.
that yet. And Doug, I know you've got your irons in lots of fires,
Yeah,
and so. So, if nobody has any objection, I'm happy
No.
to stay the chair. Will you stay the vice chair?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, whatever you want me to do.
I
I'm
want.
easy.
Okay, so
Yeah.
will you, if you nominate me, I'll nominate you.
All right.
Thank you.
So I'll move that you both stay
Yeah.
as the current
Yeah.
chair and vice chair.
And I'll second that.
Second, that motion.
Yeah.
Okay, Nan seconded.
All in
Okay.
favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay.
All right, unanimous. So Doug, seconded by Nan. Chair, vice chair remain unanimous. Thank you. We will do that. I'll let Linda know that that stayed the same. Okay, and then we already talked about the CIP member. Okay. Schedule of meetings. Linda sent the calendar piece.
Mhm.
The dates that are in red are the selectmen's meeting, which means we cannot have a meeting those days because the room's already in use. I mean, I suppose we could do it somewhere else, but I'm not sure that the Madison TV folks have the bandwidth to be able to tape two meetings at exactly the same time, so. Our meetings are traditionally held at 6 o'clock. If that doesn't work for people, I'm happy to move it a little earlier to 5 o'clock.
No, that's, 6 is better.
I think-
Six is,
okay.
yeah, 6 is.
That's when my other meetings are, so it's just easier to remember.
Okay.
I showed up for 5 today, so.
And again, since we do not have an actual budget until, probably we'll have some of the rudimentary stuff starting in October. I don't necessarily see any reason to go to 2 meetings a month in August, September, or even potentially in October. I think come November, we probably need to start having those 2 meetings a month.
That worked well last year.
I think
There was
so.
so much to, you know, get a handle on.
The only issue with it is we put Linda at, we put her in hyperdrive with having to get both the Board of Selectmen's meetings minutes out and ours. Like every week she's got meeting minutes she's gotta get out. So we'll do what we can to help her with that endeavor. But I do think it's important that come November, December, and January, because we have 3 months to basically hammer out a budget. And we have 3 months to get to department heads, and we have 3 months to get back to the selectmen, because we can't make those changes. The selectmen have to order sort of the department heads to make those changes, make whatever changes in the budget that, if they agree with what we're saying. So I'm thinking that we do a meeting August 26th.
Okay.
What did I look at? I have the other one here. August 26th, does anybody have any, like, oh my god, I'm on vacation that week.
Actually, yeah, I'm
Work.
away that week, yeah.
You're away that?
'Cause
23rd to
just
30th, yeah.
23rd to 30th, let me go back to August. So the other one would be the 12th, I'm out of town then.
I'm
I'm
out of town.
Do we,
Okay, so,
do we need to have it on Tuesdays?
So, yeah, do we have to meet on a Tuesday?
the only reason we meet on Tuesdays is because when you start to look at if you start to look at this calendar, it's fairly full
Yeah.
the rest of the week. I know the ZBA meets the 3rd Wednesday of the month. I don't know what the other Wednesdays have, so we potentially could meet like the 2nd and, hi,
Hey.
Hi, Linda.
But we don't have to make them every Wednesday, but just for that one,
for that
a
one.
meeting, we
Yeah,
could just,
absolutely, we could make it for that Wednesday.
yeah,
So for August, if you wanted to make it
20th.
the 20th,
20th would be better for me. I mean,
am I back on? Yeah, I'm back on the 20th.
we leave on the 23rd.
Oh, I have a ZBA meeting, that's the 3rd Wednesday of the month, we have a ZBA meeting at 6 p.m.
She should put that on this calendar,
I know. So the 20th is out,
27th.
you're still away, right?
Yeah.
On
That's
the
right, you're still away.
27th?
3 September.
I mean, it's early enough, really, what we're going through is drawdown
Yeah,
and,
You're away on the 19th?
I'm here on the 19th, but there's a Board of Selectmen's meeting.
Selectmen meeting.
So we try to go
4:30.
opposite that, so she
We
doesn't.
try to
Well,
go-
the room's occupied.
And they never know how long they're gonna go.
Right.
so September 9th,
September 9th?
I'm away the 7th through the 12th, but,
And I'm away
You
until
know.
the 10th.
so it is what it is.
So let's stick with the 26th. We'll have to live without Joe, unfortunately. Joe, are you someplace you can zoom in?
I might be, we're gonna be in Nova Scotia.
Oh, you don't wanna do
Yeah.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah, don't do that.
take the day.
Take the
Take
day.
the
We'll live
day.
without you. I promise to catch you up. All right, so we'll do the 26th, and then what about the 23rd of September?
26th. No, I can't.
Oh, I can't do the 23rd. I'm in Ireland.
I can't be the
Oh,
26th.
boy.
Oh my
Oh,
God, you
no. Oh,
guys.
this is,
I know,
Right? This is
Stay home.
this is what we come down to.
This is what happens.
I know.
You big travelers, you.
oh, the 26th, I got Barnstorms.
The 26th of August?
Yeah,
Okay, so when we start to have conflict with 2 or more people, then I start to worry about being able to have a quorum.
Right.
Because if we don't
That's
have
the
a
thing,
quorum,
yeah.
we don't have a quorum, we can't have a meeting.
27th. What did we say about the 27th? Oh, Joe's still not gonna be
Joe's
here.
still not here, but you're here.
I'm here. Well, I'm here on the 26th, but I've got I have to go to Barnstorm.
Yeah, you're going to the barnstorm, so we could move it to the 27th. Yeah, we could move it to the 27th
Of September.
of August.
August.
Oh,
Sorry, we haven't left August yet,
Okay, I've circled 3 dates now.
right? I made it a big fat circle.
27, all right. ABC at 6 o'clock.
27.
That's a problem, right at the end, everyone's on summer vacation
Vacation.
and traveling
Right.
and everything.
Yeah.
Okay, and then, so then September, yeah, I'm not around the 9th or the 23rd. But I do get back,
You've gone those whole 3 weeks, or do you have, are you here the
no,
week between?
I'm gone from Labor Day to, I'm back on the 10th. We could potentially meet the night of the 10th. And then I leave again on the 19th, and I don't get back until the 29th or 30th, because we're in Ireland.
I'm good with the 10th.
Anybody else? Good with the 10th?
Go
I'm not
with
here
September
through the
10th?
12th.
You're not here through the 12th?
Right.
Yeah, September 10th, are you here?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay, so I'm gonna write ABC.
as far as I know, we'll plan on it.
September 10th. October. October 21st. I don't know why that's,
Is that Columbus Day? No, what is that?
no, the 13th is Columbus Day, but.
21st says Board of Selectmen and Linda at an ambulance meeting in Freedom.
Oh,
But, oh, it's Linda, it's just Linda.
just Linda.
We don't care that the BOS is not here.
Well, we wouldn't have a BOS representative, we wouldn't have Joy,
Like tonight.
like tonight. Sorry, Joy. So we could do it on the 21st and take our own minutes.
All right, yeah, well, at least penciled in for that.
Right, 21 October.
10 September and 21 October. 21 October.
Okay, moving to November.
I think we should plan on
This is
two
where
that month.
Right.
The 4th and the 18th.
The 4th is election day. Do we have any elections? Do we have any,
I don't know.
is there any town election
elections?
stuff?
I'm not sure. It's
Are they-
not a state,
No, then there's no federal, it's not like midterm,
it's not the midterms. no.
right, that's not till next year.
I think it's an off year for elections, isn't it?
Yeah, could be.
Yeah,
Okay,
Well,
so
we
we,
can put it in for now.
right, so we would do the 4th
After
and the 18th.
Yeah.
A, B, C, A, B, C.
November 4th. 4th says election day, but I don't think,
Yeah.
no election's happening.
We don't think any
No, I don't
elections happen.
think, yeah.
Okay, November, December.
2nd and 16th, the 23rd is too close.
It's way too
Christmas
close.
is, yeah.
Plus there's a
everything's
Board of
shut down.
Selectmen's meeting then.
That whole week is
They're probably
pretty
not.
much, shut down.
Right. So,
Again through.
2 and
New
16?
Year's,
18th,
yeah.
I'm not catching up with you yet.
December, A, B, C, A, B, C.
November, where am I, December? Where are we in December?
Yep, 2 and 16.
2, 16, all right.
And then the January would be 13 and 27. That gives them 4 weeks between the 16th and the 27th. 4 weeks to get any budget updates done so that come January, we're working with legit,
Final numbers.
almost final numbers.
And can you request and give a date for the department heads to come?
It's the select, well, that would be one of the other things that we'll probably talk about at next meeting is,
Okay,
let's talk about the order in which come January, we'd like to have
Okay.
department heads come discuss. Like, we want the chief of police to come discuss his budget. We want this person to come,
Yeah.
you know, the
okay.
fire chief come talk about his budget. Okay, so 13 and 27? 13 Okay, Martin Luther King is the 19th, so. 13 and 27. December 2, 16, December. 4/18, 4/18, November. 13/27, January, and February. So the 10th is our budget hearing date.
Yeah, that's a public hearing.
No.
The Board
Oh,
of Selectmen,
yeah,
public hearing.
Right, that's when we vote on the,
Yeah.
publicly vote.
And the deliberative for school is usually the week before.
On the 2nd of February.
I feel like it's usually that. I'm gonna see if my calendar has it on there.
So unless we do something on Wednesday the 4th, we will not have another meeting from the 27th until that deliberative on the 10th.
What time is the
It's usually 6 o'clock at night, isn't it?
Is it? Okay.
Yeah.
And that'll go till 7 or 8 o'clock anyway.
Right, that'll usually go to about 8 o'clock. So do we wanna do something on the 4th? We can always cancel it if we don't actually need it.
Well, just pencil it in then for the 4th. As a
Cause there were
placeholder.
last minute changes and things of that nature,
There
the
always
order
are.
of the, yeah, we need to re-vote on
The
some
warrant
stuff.
articles
This is on
always get changed.
This is on February 4th?
Yes,
Yeah.
February 4th,
Last year, they were reordering the warrant articles.
yeah.
Okay. And the town meeting is March 14th.
Right, 10th is the election day.
Yeah,
10th is Tuesday elections, and then the 14th is
Yep.
town meeting.
Yep.
So that gives us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 meetings before we vote on a budget.
that's fair.
10?
It's not a lot,
I
yeah.
got 9. 1, 2, 3,
27,
2.
10.
I got 11.
you got 11.
Yep.
1,
1,
2,
2,
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
And 11.
Let's
Oh,
compare.
but I got the 4th as well.
Right, okay, yeah, I didn't circle the 10th, because the 10th is, that's not our meeting, that's
Okay.
the board, that's the board meeting,
But we have to be there.
but we have to be there.
So, certain.
Okay? Tentatively, those all look good. If we have to change them, I'll submit this to Linda. If we have to change them, I'll let you know.
Mm-hmm.
But there are gonna be days that don't work, and then at our next meeting, I'll probably send something out before then so that you guys can be looking at calendars, but I'll send something out before then, to see what does or does not work. Okay. Moving on. 2026 budget meetings. Draft. Okay, budget guidance development for 2026. Last year, we forwarded to the selectmen, because that's where our input goes, some of those things that we wanted to make sure that they considered, that they took into account, that they understood, if you will, when they were working with their department heads to develop the draft budget. One of the things that Joe had done a huge amount of work on was the healthcare costs. We know healthcare costs are gonna go up, but one of the, I don't know if you wanna call it agreements, we had proposed that the healthcare share go from 5% to 8%, this last year. The Board of Selectmen decided on 7%, but in deciding on 7%, they also mentioned in their meeting that this next year coming up, they could go to 10%. Since the average across the state is 14%, the average nationally is 14% is shared by the individual, 86% by the organization, entity, government, whatever it is, but whoever you get your health care from. Do we want to remind them that we are looking for the healthcare share to move to 10%.
Yeah, I'm gonna update the numbers from last year,
Okay,
probably September, October, once we get closer.
right,
I started already, and it looks like health insurance is probably gonna go up. These are estimates just from Kai's from different sources, about 6 to 8%. And what's driving that is the increase in the cost of pharmaceutical products. If there's, the tariffs go through on India, China, you know, most of the US drugs are made overseas. So the health insurance industry is anticipating probably a 6 to 8% increase. And, but again, the town won't know probably till September, October, whenever Linda gets, you know, the
Right.
proposal for the 2026 insurance. What we did last year, we compared different plans, offerings, and we actually went to a lower cost plan, and we saved about $100,000 in premiums. It has higher deductibles and things, but the town still has, they pay the deductible for the employees and stuff. So it was win-win on both sides. And as Sharon said, traditionally, we were paying 5% town employees towards the cost. And they were getting the vision dental at no employee contribution.
yeah,
So we rolled that in, and because we changed the plan last year, the selectmen felt that about 7%, and I believe was the final number. But we had spoken about probably going to 10, 11% this year. And I'll run the numbers to show what, you know, kind of the out-of-pocket cost anticipated is based on the new rates. So there's some work to be done there.
done there, yeah.
Yeah.
And I know there was some discussion on the school board side that it's different depending on if you're a para versus a full-time teacher
Mhm.
versus the principal, you know, anybody else. I'm not sure that, I know they're all under different contracts and a lot of those get negotiated separately through the contract portion or the negotiated agreements, but
Right, so usually the paras and the teachers are the same because they're under the collective bargaining agreement. It's the administration that's different, but they often,
Not always.
use the CBA as a basis for what they ask for and decide upon. But I remember the discussion and hearing the superintendent and Jim reiterating back that trying to bring those so that they're the same for everybody
Right.
would make sense.
And I know that there was a discussion that the principal was not paying any
Zero.
of the cost, was paying zero.
Zero. So what happened is you look across, if you just looked across at that line item, you saw that it went up. The principals went up. Well, why did it go up? She didn't get a raise, but you know, this is the year before.
Right,
Well, the fact remains, she didn't pay $5,000 worth of insurance.
correct.
So,
So she did get a raise. 'cause
well, she did, but you know,
Yeah.
I mean, that's that
'Cause
whole
she didn't have to.
transparency thing.
Right, right, and that's,
Yeah.
you know, I think
You know.
that it's gonna be important
Right.
for the school board to understand that.
And there was also discussion last fall, Deb, I don't know if you remember, they were talking, and it was Heather who said it's a heavy lift to do what Linda and you did for the town to get.
Oh, Heather Sherwood.
Yeah, Heather Sherwood said it was a heavy lift, she'd only been in the position for a few years, so it's not something, I mean, they've thought about it, but they didn't, you know, they haven't done anything about it quite yet,
Well,
however.
I think now is the time to remind them to start to
Exactly.
do
Yes,
something
we
about
need
it
to
at your next
start now.
meeting.
Mhm.
That the guidance from us is we're looking for proactivity from their part
Correct.
to see
Correct.
where and what can be done with regard to those healthcare benefits
Mhm.
and the cost share. And I recognize that they did change the cost share a little bit. I think the
1%.
teachers went from 10% to 11%.
Mhm.
But, you know, potentially, hopefully, maybe over the next couple of years, next year they move to 12%, the year after that move to 13, the year after that they move to 14 kind of
No,
deal.
they have a 3-year contract.
Oh, they have a 3-year contract, so they can't
So it
move.
doesn't change until,
So then in 3 years,
They have to.
as they start to negotiate, someone needs to start,
I'm a negotiator, so
Yeah.
I'm hearing you.
right, it needs to move to whatever the industry standard is at that time. It may not be 14%, it might be 15 or 16%, it might be 12%. But whatever it is, I think that our town cannot sustain not using those industry standards. It costs too much to the taxpayer.
Oh, we looked at the numbers, if we had stayed on the same path, we were heading for
Well, and
$700,000-$800,000 a year
I think
for
that's
health
what some of
insurance.
us had wondered,
Yeah.
where you guys did all that legwork
Yes.
on changing to a new plan, would that make some of the legwork easier?
I mean, I
for
can
the
help
school,
do it,
and
yeah.
it just gets very complicated because it impacts 3
Different.
districts.
The SAU.
So that's the tricky part, but if it would benefit the employees in all 3 districts, I
Right.
think that would be a
Yeah, one of the
no-brainer.
things we looked at last year was possibly putting the town under the same health insurance provider that the school is. And I got the numbers from Linda. The school insurance premiums were actually higher than the company that we were
That we
paying for
were,
the
right.
town.
So I don't know if,
Yeah.
again, you're locked into a 3-year contract at this point, but putting on the
But
table
the
idea
plan
of-
itself is not named in the CBA, so that's
Oh, just the percentages are.
right.
So,
Yeah, right.
okay, so if there's an
So you
opportunity then
To
to go back
change
and look
plans.
and change plans,
Yes.
which would achieve the cost savings because you got a lower provider then.
Right,
Yeah,
it's
let-
just that the union has to be involved in that
Yeah.
decision making.
But
Yeah.
the approach with the town employees, it was win-win for both sides. Was significant cost savings just by going to a higher deductibles, which were covered under, you know, the town's
HRA.
HRA anyway, right? So any major expenses wouldn't impact the employee. And there was a slight increase in what the employees were paying, but they still have a premium health plan. So, you know,
Let me explain,
Yeah,
the
no.
town, so when they went to the higher deductible, the town had a policy, and they've continued with that policy, that they would cover anything that exceeded over, I guess it was what, $1,000 or $2,000, I forget what it was.
yeah, something, yeah.
It's either $1,000 or $2,000. If we had a $5,000 deductible, and you know we had previously said you would only have to pay 2,000 of it, and we'll pay the other 3,000. They ran the numbers with the employees and said, how many people are exceeding their deductible? How many people are exceeding that $2,000? And it was a lot less than you'd expect, and it was a lot cheaper to say, we'll
Yes.
pay your deductible
That's what they
as
do in
opposed to
SAU
pay the
9.
higher.
Yes.
It was, again, win-win. Unfortunately, as Linda, the research we did, the town employees are very healthy, right?
Yes.
And they're not filing big claims, right? Which drives the cost up. So we were able to go with the higher deductibles and still cover them under the HRA. So again,
But
it
again, we
was a
only
good
have
win for everybody.
13
right?
employees.
Right.
That
Yeah,
might
we
be a
only have
little more,
13, yeah.
might be a little more difficult when you're talking about the entire SAU 13.
Right,
So-
but you guys are just looking to see, has anybody looked into this yet for
Right.
the school? And
Yeah.
if not,
They
are
should be.
they?
They should be
They should-
reviewing it, you know, annually or every contract
Every-
renewal or something.
Right.
Well,
The
they
year
said they
before.
would do it last fall.
Yeah, I
They
remember
had-
Jim said
Yes,
he
they
would,
said,
yeah.
you know, there were a few items that they named off that they needed to address, and
Address.
it wouldn't have been in last year's budget or this year or whatever, but these are we hear you, this is what we're hearing. And healthcare was definitely,
Okay, so,
Yeah, Linda's still waiting, I
Oh,
think, to
yeah, I'm
ask
sorry,
a
Linda.
question.
I just wanted, before you got too far into it, I specifically remember, and I think if people go back into the minutes, I remember Mike Vayu standing up and saying that he wanted, he would like to see it be equitable. Everybody got the same, paid the same. And I remember Eddie on the school board, I forgot his last name.
Robinson.
Robinson,
Eddie
Mr.
Robinson
Robinson.
said he was a school board member who was in favor of that. He said, I would support that. And the administration, who are the ones who are getting, like, not paying anything, they're not under the union contract, right? So it could easily, something could easily be accomplished.
Yeah, unless they have a
For them.
multi-year, which I don't think they
I don't
do,
think
it's
they have
year to year,
really,
so.
yeah, I think they're year to year. So in that vein, something could be done concerning them.
And as far as the contracted, you know, the MBA, CBA
CBA.
people, they could look at another plan. It's just they have to get that
Same
same.
percentages,
Yeah.
the same, the
So
percentages.
they could
Yes.
possibly save money by looking at a different
At a lower
provider,
cost
different
Yeah.
provider.
Well, and if there's an HRA involved, like the town, there's opportunities to do memorandums of understanding.
Yeah.
That, you know, obviously, the incentive would be if it's good for both sides,
Right.
Right.
that would be an avenue.
No, I
that
think you can,
they
you can
could
have a
go.
win-win,
Yeah.
Yes.
because, you know,
And
It's
what
a
would
fair
make
balance.
the most sense, because then you get more people, is, I don't know if you ever talk about those things, Deb, at the joint school board meetings, but when you do the research and present, if you can present it to Freedom and Tamworth as well, so you get the buy-in, because it seemed that they were saying what was the most difficult is that there were the 3 schools and they were all on different
mhm,
plans, so.
okay.
Okay, so we know, obviously, guidance to Deb is that come Monday, talk about that we're gonna be looking to see where some due diligence is being done with regard to healthcare benefits. From it's probably too early to develop any kind of specific percentages, but last year we had presented to the town and to the school board that we were looking for a budget decrease, that we were looking for them to take, a 2 to 3% decrease in the budget as opposed to any increases in budget. That didn't work out so great for us from a guidance perspective because both budgets went up, but I do still think that it's important for us to continue to be fiscally conservative with regard to the taxpayers' money. And I think in our next meeting, we should talk about what specifically we might want to recommend, because that's all we can do. We're an advisory budget committee. We don't develop the budget. There's a big difference, and if you don't know the difference between an advisory budget committee and an actual budget committee, it really amounts to the fact that we only have the power to advise the town on what we think they should do and what we think they shouldn't do, and then we have the ability to vote whether we approve it or disapprove it. In a regular budget committee, the budget committee would develop the town budget. And so, the town didn't vote for that, I think 3 times. They wanted the selectmen to still develop the budget. And it is the selectmen's responsibility to do that.
One thing I think we need, lessons learned from the last couple of years, and that, I think Sharon's on the same page. We need to do a lot of due diligence, especially with the department heads. We cannot have these surprise acquisitions this year.
Yeah.
Oh, I need a new XYZ for $300,000. We got hit for the last several years like that.
Yeah.
And then, where did that come from? Why was it presented that way? And I think we're well aware of the issues from last year. I don't want that to happen again this year. We gotta get a handle on that. And I already asked Linda, when she sent the agenda and things out, I said, are there any major acquisitions being planned that we're not aware of? Is it a new plow truck? Is it a new whatever? We cannot be surprised like we have been and scrambling, and it turned into a real mess last year.
Yeah, and in the future, what we're hoping is those things are in the CIP, right?
Yes.
So that
Yes, but they weren't, and that's what killed us.
It's not a
Yeah,
surprise.
it was a surprise
It's been
acquisition.
planned for 20 years,
Right.
right?
Yeah,
Right, and whether, if it's in there, that it's actually accurately being planned
Yes.
for. It's not just a line item that somebody threw in there and doesn't pay any attention to it. That has to be looked at and it has to be updated and it has to be revised probably at least, from a working standpoint, probably, once or twice a year. Maybe every 6
Yeah.
months, take a look at it and see. Because obviously, those areas where we have big equipment issues, being like the fire department, the police department, and DPW, there are things that are going to happen. You're gonna have a vehicle that breaks or, DPW had one that slid off the road on
Yeah,
the ice.
no,
and
it
hit a
happens,
tree.
yeah, that
Yeah,
happens,
those things
yeah.
happen. And so you have to be able to plan, that's the other thing, is having a reserve that can help plan for those kinds of things, that if they happen, then you have the money, or you're at least planning for the money for them for the long run.
one of the big issues that came up I've seen over the last several years is where we're setting money aside for major acquisitions, for example, I hate to bring it up, the road
Grader.
grader. We didn't put money away for the last 5-10 years, then we have the $419,000
Right.
bill. You know, again, and you look and go, why are we only putting $10,000 into the heavy equipment, you know, fund?
Line, yeah.
Yeah, you know, I mean, any new equipment's $200,000 plus. You know, so we gotta look at that too, again, avoid the surprise acquisitions and the big expenses.
Because they end up costing us more money,
Yes.
so, money we don't have, money that's not sustainable, so. Anything
Okay.
else from, any other areas that we were gonna wanna, you think, discuss? Again, it doesn't have to be a complete list, it's a partial list, at least something to
We,
start on.
we had looked at the road, the one,
Right,
the one price estimate that DPW received for 2026, it was
Yep.
443K.
Yeah, from Pike,
Yeah, and again, this came in as part of this year's bid, and that's why I asked Linda if she could get us a copy. They want to top coat Mooney Hill Town Line Road, and then rebuild East Shore Drive, and, you know, the cost estimate's $443K. Last year we spent,
the bulk of which is East Shore Drive.
East Shore is, if you've driven it, it's a long road, there's several miles of road there, and, you know, it hasn't been done in a while. This year we spent, I think it came in final was $383K.
Well,
But,
town line's done, it's very nice.
it needs a top coat,
Needs that,
that's
yeah.
the base, it's, same as Mooney Hill, that's why it's
So
on those.
nice though. even with
Actually,
top
yeah.
coat.
Right.
Have you driven it, have you seen it?
Yeah, I live over there.
Oh, you live?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's,
and they,
yeah,
at first, they had the big lip from where the pavement hits the dirt
Yeah.
on Ida West Drive, but they've since kinda
so they,
leveled
they
that out.
lo- put a transition in there and leveled it out.
So there's not a big,
No, I went over, I drove it too, because, I was the one pushing for Town Line Road last year, it was
bad.
horrible.
It was very
We
bad.
had that like wave, the big huge pothole in there and
Yes.
everything.
Right up at the top.
Pike and the DPW, we have to give credit where credit's due, they did a great job on it.
was
Again, but
fast,
it
too.
needs that final coat, so I think that's why the DPW has it on this year's estimate. But again, it's, you know, we're talking 400+K,
Yeah.
and last year we debated that price back and forth quite a bit, you know, and,
Yeah, and I guess my question is, does East Shore Drive have to be done all at one time? Does the entire length of the road have to be done all at one time?
that was my question, if we went with a lower budget number, could we do half the road this year, then
Half
half in
the road, yeah.
2027?
Right,
Yeah, just to keep the cost down, I think there's room to negotiate there, or
or talk to the
talk
DPW to see.
DPW, see what we can do.
Okay, any other areas of guidance that we would like to at least start to think about?
As like I'm not a member of the board, and I don't know where this money comes from. I live in Banville Hollow, which is off of 113. And they go so fast on that road, pass on the double yellow lines on 113 up there.
Oh, yeah, it's crazy,
It's
yeah.
awful.
Yeah.
Somebody is gonna die on that road. And I really have liked seeing the signs that tell you your speed limit. I think they're effective, at least they are for me. So I don't know if we can buy more of those, and I don't know if I need to tell him, because he would put
Yeah,
it in the
Chief Hayford,
budget.
Budget,
yeah.
yep, talk to Chief Hayford about it,
Okay,
he's more than happy
That I
to,
think would really make a big
Yeah.
difference.
And I was gonna talk to Joey about the exact same issue on either side of Nichols Beach.
Oh,
Oh,
that is
okay.
dangerous, somebody's
Kids
gonna get
crossing the
hurt.
road,
Yes.
you know, people going 45, 50
50
down.
miles an hour
Yeah.
through there, with kids at the beach.
Yeah.
You
No,
know,
I've seen it.
I don't know if I guess that's a state road, so we
It
don't
is.
have any
Mhm.
control
But
of
yeah,
it.
you can still put your signs on it.
You can put your signs out, but
Yeah.
what, I don't know, the city of I'm from Portsmouth, they have put speed bumps all over town.
Mhm.
And to slow people down where there's like a crosswalk coming up or stuff. I guess we probably don't have control of that, but I think the signs are a good start. But
and I think, again, talking to Chief Hayford, if there are efforts to record how many times they've stopped someone speeding along that length of road, whatever, and then they can create that data and give it to the state to say, did you get stopped?
3 days ago,
Did you, in Madison? Oh, geez.
just before Nichols Beach.
McAllister.
Oh, geez.
Well, I think we're all guilty
So
of
do you need
that,
the sign
but
for
not-
yourself?
We need to
Down
sign.
that hill and.
It is, you're coming
And
down
I
that hill.
live only a half a mile from there, so.
We're guilty of that, but not at the level some of these
Some of the
people.
people.
No,
So
and,
yeah, that's a safety issue, and I definitely would suggest
thank
talking
you.
to Chief Hayford about it.
Chief Hayford, he has been moving the mobile
Sign
sign around because he had it up, when you were going down the hill towards the transfer station, down towards Banfield
Yeah.
Hollow, 40 miles an hour. People do 50, 60 down that hill.
They do 80,
Oh,
they do
yeah.
70, 80, yeah.
So, no, I understand, and, on a similar thing, the town redid some of the dirt roads, with the new machinery. And now the complaint is because the roads are smooth, people are speeding. So it's no longer a DPW issue, it's a police department issue.
Right?
I gotta be out of here.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll, in 5 minutes, we'll let you go. Is there anything else from a budget guidance development? Because then all we'll do is we'll go through the drawdown review, and I will, record questions if we have questions about specific numbers. Since Linda's not here to answer them, we'll send those questions to her to get answers for whenever we meet, or she'll just send them back to us so that we know.
The number I had, the question I had was assessing,
Yeah,
600%,
we're 600%, right, and I don't know what that
and
is.
we're only 60% through the year.
Yeah, but I don't know if all the assessing is done.
Yeah, I don't
The
think-
assessing might be done, so.
Well, they're still doing appeals and stuff, right?
The
Yes.
appeals.
Beyonce having the meetings and the
Yes, they are.
negotiating, yeah.
But the contract should be paid,
I'm not sure. Yeah.
so, I don't know, again, but yeah. So, last call, is there anything on the budget guidance development for 2026 that you want to note? Or an area that we wanna make sure we provide guidance on? No? Okay, that's fine, like I said, not a,
Can always revisit.
yes, not a subject that has to be done and finished. All right, so then I will let you go, Doug.
Okay.
What time is it? We'll call it
7.
6:55.
Okay.
Okay, 6:55, Doug departs. All right, thank you.
Yeah, sure.
We'll see you soon.
Yes, I can. All set. Thank you.
All right, so calculations, the end of July is 58% of the way through the year. I personally took a look at anything that was drastically different, potentially mostly anything over 58 to 60%. If something was higher than, say, a 60 or 61%, I at least wanted to take a look at it and see why I thought it might be that. And so, on the first page, rentals for DPW is at 107%. Technically 108 if you're rounding. And I don't know what we rented. I don't know if, I'm trying to think, did we have any, like catastrophic road events or anything like that? Was the fixing of the culverts on Pound Road, was that unexpected and they had to rent additional equipment for that? I don't know. So I have a question. Then the next one was the overtime hourly salaries are at 70%. Is that just since we haven't gotten any one of these this year, this is the first one I'm really looking at. I did get, I don't know if that was from the snow over the winter. Let's see, do I have one? I thought I did have,
There were quite a few storms and sandings. The DPW was busy this winter, so
Yeah.
that may be what we're looking at.
At the end of June, they were 68%. They were at 68% of their budget, so I would suspect that that's predominantly stuff from the winter.
Because we had the back-to-back storms and
right.
Yeah, it was a busy winter.
What did I have next? Animal and pest control, boarding. We've already, in June, we were at 100%. I know it's only $500, but I
What
thought
is
we
that?
only
What are we
boarded.
bored?
I think when they pick up an animal and have to
Oh,
board it,
Yeah,
and until the owner comes and gets it, so that may be a reimbursable expense, so you're gonna see it expended, it may go over, but we get reimbursed for those expenses when the owner picks up the dog.
Well, they should, right? The owner should
It
pay for their dog.
It
right?
doesn't
When
get
you-
brought to Conway Humane?
I don't know.
Yeah, but it may get may get brought there, but we may have to pay for it to be there until
Oh,
the owner
usually
picks
You
it
have to
up.
pay
when
probably
you pick
for
it up.
food and
Yeah, I don't
care
know.
and everything,
And that's
yeah.
those guys, it's the police folks, so I can ask about,
I assume the owner goes to get the dog, they might have
I only
to-
know because
that
my
they-
dog ended up there quite a few
Oh,
times.
did they?
In the
Is that where they bring them?
past. And it's a couple dogs ago, but you would go and you'd have to pay when you
Yeah.
went to pick them up.
So that's a doggy jail over there?
Yes, that
Where-
is
that's where
doggy
your
jail.
dog is?
doggy jail?
That's
It
where your
is
dog
doggy
ends
jail.
up?
I just don't know, like, if it's the weekend, if there's not somebody, you know,
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
is,
yeah.
Yeah, I don't
if
know.
there's not somebody
I
there,
don't
like,
know,
what
I've never had a
happens?
dog end up there.
Me neither. Knock on wood.
Yes, yeah,
Right?
okay.
Assessing. So 311% for the contract.
How'd we go over that much?
I don't know, but how are we only at a $21,000 budget? I don't remember.
Yeah, because, I don't know.
So here's what actually, as I'm
I can't
thinking about it,
remember.
here's what it may be. It may be that there was money in the ETF, or whatever they call it, thing, the fund. There's money in the fund. We needed an additional $21,000, so we put it in the budget for this year. But the total bill to them was gonna be 65. So we may be spending that 65, but the other 44 may come back
That's
out
right.
of the fund into the budget in order to
That's,
buy
I
that.
remember Mike and Linda were saying
Yeah.
that meeting last year, that every year they put money aside for the 5th year
Right,
for the assessment
right.
contract.
So I think that may be what it is.
Yeah,
But I'll ask Linda, I'll go in maybe tomorrow and meet with her. Contract, 311%. The 100% for computer support, is that Avatar?
that's probably the mapping software, right? You know, I
I
I
don't
assume
know.
so, yeah, that's probably
But
the
that's
annual.
computer support, that's not a computer subscription or
Is it software license or something?
a software
I'm-
fee,
I'm not
right,
sure.
computer
Yeah.
support. We're at 100%. But I'm sure she'll be able to tell me what it is. And then the kiosk, that's the New Hampshire tax, or the property tax, the online piece. So that may be like an upfront cost for, you pay it at the beginning of the year for the whole year. But assessing is at 204% overall. Building inspector. If anybody else has questions about any
No,
of
no,
these
I'm
items.
just looking, yeah.
Yeah.
Building inspector technology is at 75.9%.
Yeah, I forget the software he's using, but the permits are done, you know, he inputs all the data online, tracks
Yeah, but we're
the.
at 75.9% this early in the year, halfway through the
It
year.
might be. Yeah.
Is it
I'm thinking
contingent
that
upon
may
the
be
number
the
of-
annual cost was the $1,900. I don't know, that's something we'll have to ask Linda, but
Right,
it's probably an annual, you know, fee for the software.
yeah, I don't know. But then, again, that should be under software fees or
technology
whatever as
something,
opposed to,
yeah, for fees, yeah, I don't know.
Conservation Commission, admin 70%. And then Old Home Week. They're at 105%, 105.7%. cost of something went up, it looks like, cause it's a $28.
$28 increase.
Yeah, so it looks like the cost of something went up that they either rented or purchase or whatever they do. Supplies, Conservation Commission water quality testing. There's 0 on that, why is there that 0? Direct assistance, food pantry, you got half your money. Welfare
Yep.
got about half their money, and welfare administrator has got none of the money. Seems to me that should be half too. Welfare admin. I'm an advocate of, if you're in a position that's a stipend position, that you should on a quarterly basis be drawing or be given part of that stipend, and it shouldn't wait until the end of the year. It should be done, so that this budget more reflects where money
Where it
actually
is.
and obligations still exist and don't exist. I don't like to see, from a budgeting perspective, I don't like to see, that the
Money's not spent till like the last
Till
month of
the-
the year.
yeah, till December. I know people like to get, like, they consider sometimes when they get the
Christmas money.
stipend, they get their little Christmas bonus kind of thing, but it doesn't help us from a budget perspective. Cause we jump then at the end of the year from 75% to 95% kind of thing, and it's better to see it get distributed quarterly. If not monthly, Under election, there's a couple election printing. I'm presuming these costs were all for the March meeting,
Right,
Mhm.
and if there's not another election
right?
in November,
There should not necessarily be a huge,
any more money taken out of those.
yeah, because any of the next meetings won't happen until till next year. They'll be in 2026, February and March. So I don't know what other elections there might be. We can ask, that's a Mike Brooks question, right? These are 25 town meeting. Okay, emergency management, that's all. Supplies, yeah, like, see, the emergency management director, although that's a reimbursable, he has to account for his hours.
He does, yeah, he reports hours.
Yeah,
and
at the end of the year.
Reimburses the money, yeah.
Fuel, maintenance.
A good question for Mike is on the emergency management, the way, it looks right now, FEMA's gonna be phased out in 2026. Are we gonna continue to receive money for emergency management, federal grants? We're not getting our emergency food shelter money from FEMA. The future of FEMA is up in the air right now.
Right.
And how is that gonna impact the town's emergency management plan and, that type of thing, cause even like after the storms, the money we got from FEMA, the $375,000. So that's something we need to kinda think about for 2026.
Sure, every town is thinking the same thing.
Oh, I know, if that federal
Right.
money goes away,
Yeah.
you know,
Right.
we're gonna be hurting if we get another big storm or something, you know.
Pay me now or pay me later.
Yeah.
Right,
Or at least we recovered 70% of that money for those emergency road repairs, you know. I
Right,
don't
so
know what
our
the future
taxes
is.
might go down federally, but
Yeah. No,
then we
but
have
if
to
we
pick
get-
it up locally.
Yeah, if we get another
If we
major
get-
storm,
yeah,
you know,
slammed.
how we gonna cover that?
Well, the potential is that our property taxes will go up and the state would reimburse it. The state would take over, and that way then,
Yeah.
those
see, I don't know.
states that, those states that we've kind of been paying for in your federal taxes, you know, that have all those floodings and
Mhm.
wildfires and all those kinds of things that we haven't necessarily had, then that money hopefully would stay within our state, and it would be there for when we do need it.
Yeah, that's a good question for Mike.
Yeah.
Where does he see the future of?
Yeah, and is there a plan? Does he have a plan
Yeah.
that he's thinking about for potentially putting a greater reserve in or
That's what I'm
something?
thinking, we may wanna do a bigger town reserve or something.
Yeah,
but-
or is there like a recommendation from the state
Yeah,
on
how-
any of that
I mean, this is
stuff?
gonna impact every town, you know,
right. Mhm.
so.
Alright, so I wrote, Mike Brooks, with FEMA potentially phasing out, what impact to emergency management and any disaster money might there be? What is the plan? A bigger town reserve? Any state recommendations?
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, that's something we need to think of, I mean, just not the ABC, but, you
No,
know, the whole town
town.
leadership, yeah.
Mhm.
Administrative assistant, 62%, that's about right. Fees and dues, 96%. Those are usually upfront type things, you pay them for the year, so I'm not worried about that necessarily. 64 to 104% for the town report. That's just printing costs, probably were up $100. Because they did have to change the printing, remember? They had to go back and change that warrant article, so they
That's
had to go
right,
back
so
and
there was
change-
additional cost to
Yep.
reprint,
Yep.
yeah. Yeah, cause the verbiage on the warrant article had changed after it was finalized, after it went to the printer, that's
Right.
right.
Yep. Financial admin. Computer support, 102%. That was a weird number to budget for it anyway, 8221.
I don't know, maybe that's what it came in last year or something,
Yeah.
it sounds like, yeah, the software, computer stuff.
5922, 83% postage. We're at 83% of our postage. Is that,
Mailing out the tax bills and everything?
that
now?
should come under assessing,
I'm
shouldn't
not
it?
sure, yeah.
But there is no, I don't know what BTLA fees are, but I was just looking to see if there's a postage under assessing. Or under the kiosk, but there isn't, so I wonder if then that postage for mailing them.
You have to remember too, the cost of first class
It's going
stamps have
up,
gone
too.
up again.
Yeah.
It's like 78 cents or something now, it's gone up.
Yeah,
It's gone up twice in
Twice.
the last year, and 5-10 cents at a time. So maybe that's why we're seeing an increase on the postage, just because the rates have gone up.
yeah, and I don't think anybody anticipated that second rate increase, so. they
No, it
wouldn't have
just
been able to
happened
plan
like
for
this
it.
week or
Yeah.
something, or
Yeah, and it
last
was
week.
only announced in June, so.
Yeah, another 5 cents or something.
I think it's this week, I think it's tomorrow, actually,
Yeah.
July 30th.
But if you're mailing out, a ton of tax bills or something, the 5 cents makes a difference.
Yes, it does. When you're talking about thousands of tax
Yeah.
bills. Auditors. That's probably just the, we pay them 13.5 a year, and so this is probably just, it's a little more than halfway through that they're paying them, but it just could be the timing of payments. And then the fire department. They're always fairly well in check. Supplies a little tiny bit high, but not much. It's 67. Mutual aid, that gets paid up front, so that's 100%. 63, 61, but at 4.8. But there's there's a bunch of these. Some of the zero
Zeros,
ones.
yeah.
But he may not have had, like, radio repairs is zero for $2,000. He probably hasn't had any. That reimbursement from members is definitely, does not get done till the end of the year.
End of the
until
year,
they're
December.
finished with all the calls,
Mhm.
so they can figure out who went to what calls. He hasn't bought any supplies yet. I find that hard to believe. He hasn't needed any supplies? And they haven't done any training? I know they have. They have to have. They may have gotten it for free then.
Yeah, maybe they didn't have to pay to bring somebody in or
Right.
materials or something, yeah.
This training and uniforms are all 0%. Okay. And that, again, the fire warden is a $3,500 stipend. And so is the warden for the forest fire, so those will get eaten up by the end of the year. But again, I would like to see it, the midpoint, they give them half of it, at least. Maintenance. What happened? Something happened here recently. Something broke
I
or
think it was the boiler.
the boiler, right.
It was loud.
The boiler went,
Here in the town hall?
yeah.
Oh geez.
And so they had to have somebody come in and do like an emergency fix on it or something, and that may be why this is at 90%. Maintenance. Septic town projects, general government equipment, 14, 73 technology equipment, GGE. I don't know, it's not that big. Still have $900 left in there. 109% down in parts, DPW, highways. So, they have 1, 2, 3, although there's software support one and the computer number, and that's usually upfront cost, 100%, but they have one that's gravel. How are culverts only at 21% when they just did all that work on Pound Road?
Didn't they had bought the culverts last year or something, didn't he?
I don't know.
I thought they
Did
had
they
a
have 'em
supply
left
of them
over?
or something, I can't remember.
Well, we can ask.
They
And
must have
then
had some parts in stock or something.
gravel's at 70%. Then this notices parts. Did we have to fix something?
The grader.
Stop.
Better not.
Better not.
That's under warranty. It better be, we bought the warranty.
Right. Salt.
I'm never gonna live that down, you know.
That's because of all the storms.
It's all in good humor.
I know.
But is it? I guess my
It's fine.
question is like, you kinda know, on the high end, I'm gonna need 10 storms worth of salt.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah,
think
we haven't
the
even
price has probably
hit
gone
the
up.
end of the year where we're gonna have to use some more.
You know, you gotta hope and pray we don't get any bad storms.
We had a
No,
tough
don't
winter, a
ever
lot of
say
ice, they were putting a lot of salt and stuff down.
I think that's what.
And I think a lot of the salt comes from overseas, so the prices might have gone up. I don't know, that's something we need to
Yeah.
ask. You know, the
But I mean,
cost-
does he,
yeah.
I guess my question would be, I don't know how they're budgeting for salt. Like, do they use a 3-year average, do they
I
use a
don't know.
10-year average,
Mhm.
right, so, whatever it is, it didn't work this year.
Mhm.
Cause we're already at 125%.
It's not that there's more roads, right?
Nope,
No, but if you're sanding and
Sanding
salting
more
twice
often.
as often, because we did have a lot of ice and slush and everything this year.
and we haven't spent anything on sand.
Well, remember, they started sifting their own sand. I think they're using it out of their stock here. They had, last year or so, they had rented a whatever you use to sift the
To sift
stones
the
and
stone.
everything out.
Yeah.
And they had used the loader, and the guys are doing it themselves. I thought John Arruda had told me that. I can't remember. But I think they
Maybe
were
we can ask the
saving,
question.
they were saving a lot of money by using the existing piles out there and doing it themselves.
So then I guess my question is if they believe and predict that they will not necessarily spend this $6,000, even if you move the $6,000 to the salt line, you still don't cover what we've already used.
So when they, it's a sand salt combination when they do the road, right? What's thrown out of that truck.
I'm not
Is it-
sure, yeah, I'm not sure.
I know in our neighborhood it is because we noticed, we'd never had it done prior to this winter. And this is the first year the town has done
Taken the
Banfield
roads.
Hollow. And, so in the past, someone just we paid somebody. And this year, it was mixed with salt because we noticed more, stuff on the side of the road to the grass from the salt. So it seems like when they spit that out of that truck, which is great, I mean, the roads were wonderful, but I think it's a combination of sand and salt.
I think it depends on what they're doing, and we would have to ask the DPW. If there's already ice on the road, they're gonna probably have to use a combination of sand and salt. If they are pre-salting the road
Oh.
before an ice event happens, they put that salt down so that it warms that road bed up a bit and the ice never accumulates. I think that's a different combination or a different
That
different
would just be salt.
percentage of, yeah, so I'm not a DPW expert,
No, that's,
but, you know, I guess it's a question we can ask Mr. Shackford to see if he has an answer, can tell us how that's done. And then vehicle repair, what are we repairing?
the parts and the vehicle repair, something must have broke down or something, you know.
Yeah.
We've spent, almost 70 grand on parts and vehicle repairs,
Right,
yeah. Yeah, I haven't heard what,
Is that a plow?
I don't know, I'm not sure what the repairs and parts were.
yeah, and I don't know if there's anything, I would have to go back and ask Linda for, like, when was the bulk of that? If it was back last winter, maybe something did break last winter and they had to fix it or whatever, but, or if it's, well, let me see, I have June's numbers. I don't know what page am I on, page 4? 4. Vehicle repair was at 33,000, it's at 35,000, so in a month it's been an additional $2,500, which isn't that much, but.
No, not for the equipment they're running.
Right.
That's,
So potentially the bulk of that may have been something that happened over the winter, which we can ask. All right, so we're done with DPW. They're at 68% of their budget, which is about 10% higher than technically kind of where they should be, which is not terrible, but it bears watching.
there's $3,000 for signs that hasn't been
Yeah.
spent.
I
There's
don't,
your Nichols Beach signs.
I don't know what that is. I don't know
Right.
what went into that $3,000.
It's $3,000 worth of signs, I think.
Yeah,
We could put no speeding signs at, near Nichols Beach or something like
Oh, that's a flasher.
that. Or flasher, there you go,
Yeah.
Deb.
the ones that check your speed
The
and
Tamworth has been putting those out.
then,
Have you seen the one
Tamworth
down?
has on
Tamworth
113
had one
and-
on 113.
All right, down to insurance being at 100%, they pay that up front. That's liability and workers' comp, so that's normal. Legal, 90%. Lien and deeds. Those are reimbursable when they
When they sell a property.
when they either sell the property or they
lien on a
go to the
tax
court,
lien,
or,
yeah,
right, or when you
yeah.
pay your, if you're late in paying your taxes or something, we put the lien, then when you settle the lien, you have to pay, or settle the tax, you have to pay that lien, so. But it concerns me that we're at 90% of that, because that means we have more of those activities happening than we might have anticipated. Town council, 13 for 22. The library, electronic materials. She just bought all the stuff. It was probably something computer related or electronic related that they, 104. Fees and dues, that doesn't surprise me. That's probably the library software system that they use, that they're part of. I forget what the name of that is. ILS support is at 100%. That's probably the same thing. Programs at 66%. Well, it's not inordinately high. We're a little bit ahead of there. Books, 68%. I know she's going to buy all the books she can with that $5,000. Buy them early, get them on the shelves. Subscriptions, all good. 57.9 overall. Madison Peg. Cable, nothing to contractors yet, no payments. Equipment, 90% for online services. Doug's not here, I could have asked him, he knows.
Those are like our antivirus and other like subscription software. And there's only one more for the year that comes out in November, so we should be right on track.
Okay. So it's really a timing thing.
Yeah, cause it's when they're
When they
renewed
come due,
annually,
yeah.
yeah.
Alright, notes and leases, we're okay. Parks and Rec, Slam, $9,000. They're at 100%. They gave them the whole, whatever that is, for.
Was that for their watershed management study to like?
No, that's
The
a
Lake
separate,
Coast, right?
That's a Warren article.
that was a
expense,
Warren
right?
article,
Yeah,
yeah.
this is like a budget line item, so.
Does it go towards the Lake Coast?
It might go to the Lake Coast
Yeah.
and
I think-
water testing
Yeah.
and all that stuff, yeah. I think every year the town contributes to SLAM.
Patriotic purposes. I'm pretty sure in the next couple weeks, the expenses for those fireworks is gonna come in.
I have to ask on the Veterans Monument.
Yeah.
Has that work been completed? Where
Yes.
they fixed the names and
Yeah, if
everything?
you go out and take a look at it,
Okay, I wasn't
it's
sure.
there. Yeah.
It's, so that work's all done?
Yeah, that work's all done. There are names that still need to be added, though. We've gotten some more names. I know there's at least 2, I believe, that need to be added.
Okay. No, I was just curious.
Yeah, and I had started a conversation with the selectmen that in years when we don't spend this $500, instead of it going away and ending up just in the unfunded, unreserved balance or whatever we call that, I forget. Why can't we take that $500 and put it into a veterans monument fund, like a heavy highway equipment? And that way it accumulates. It's only $500 a year, but it accumulates. And in the 3 years when we have to add names, we have $1,500 in there to do it from, as opposed to only 500 from here, because it's about $250 a name to get it engraved.
Have the
on there.
guy come out and engrave it?
Yeah, so, and I'm sure that's gonna go up. It was $250 a name a couple of years ago, so. But we'll see. Personnel admin. Anything in there?
Just because I was talking up the medical HRA,
Yeah.
we're
We're at
$1,700 over it. Well, that's the HRA we were discussing earlier that covers the deductibles. So, historically, we haven't used the $6,000. I mean,
Right.
we went back like 10 years.
Yeah,
We looked at the data. So, this year is an outlier. You know, right now it's 1747 over. I guess somebody had a major expense or something. But, I don't think it's an area of concern because traditionally we underrun or we don't use it. So this is just kind of a bump this year. The insurance, yeah, that's where it should be. You know, we're paying 283K this year. It would have been
300
close to
something.
400
Yeah.
if we didn't make those changes last year. And we added another employee this year.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so.
Actually, we've added 2 so far.
Two new
Because
people.
we have 2 police
Two
officers.
police officers, that's right. So we're actually doing very well on the insurance. The cost savings is where we thought it would be. We're doing well.
And I'm wondering if that New Hampshire Group 1 full-time employee 71% number, didn't they change the retirement? Wasn't there a bill that was passed recently
Not
that
sure.
deals with, and I don't know, it might have been the Group 2 guys, but we're at 71% of that. I don't know if that's a timing thing from when she makes the payments, or was there a change? Because the 2 new police officers would be in this Group 2, not in Group 1. All right, planning board, they're in line. Police, computer support, 97%. Could be a timing thing. 71% they've spent of that police grant, but then that gets reimbursed back to us out of the grant funds, so.
Mhm.
Total grants, office supplies, no, this is still under police. 115% on police detail.
Yeah, that's reimbursable, remember?
Yep,
But that's
whoever requires the detail pays it.
pays back, so, yeah,
Right.
whatever the charge is for the police.
And he just
said.
estimates like how much detail do we think, how many details do we think we're gonna do, and if he's wrong,
Yeah,
it shows as an overage, but it's really not. Publications, and then 100% on taser, he must have bought the new taser. Or new tasers, whatever. it was.
tasers, whatever, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, rec department, they spent all their advertising money. Transportation, that must be the bus for the, I
When-
don't know.
Yeah, remember they overran on that, and Joy, I remember last year, was working with Sarah or Heather, because the price of the bus to like take the kids on the field trips or down to the beach,
Right,
the guy, it was a new contract or something, somebody bought it.
he bought the company, yeah.
Yeah, and the price went way up. And I think they were trying to negotiate that back down or something. I'm not sure what happened there.
And
But-
maybe this might, part of this might be reimbursable too, because I think that when they were charging for summer camps, if they were going somewhere, they were putting some of the cost of the transportation, like $5 per kid or something. They were putting some of that cost into the
Mhm.
rec fees, so we may see some of that come back, but it's, it's good to ask the question. Solid waste, recycling is a little more expensive, I guess, than well testing and capping. I don't know, is that the well testing out there?
I think it's to monitor, there's test wells at the transfer station at the old dump.
Ah, okay,
To-
to make sure it's not leaching into water.
Hazmat's not leaching into the groundwater. You know, I think they have to test annually. There are sample areas there.
It is only 66.9, so it's probably a timing issue. All right, and on the last page. Okay. The zoning board.
They're
Wow.
They're a
Yeah.
little over.
You think? So, I have to ask her about this dues and publications at 617%. I don't understand that. We only budgeted $100 because we were only looking for one copy of the updated New Hampshire municipal rules and stuff. Before we used to get 5-7 copies, one for every member. Now we've decided we just need one copy, leave it on the table when we're reading.
Yeah.
So I don't really know what that is. The legal ZBA I understand because we now had to get separate legal counsel for the cell tower issue. That was a separate lawyer from the ZBA's lawyer.
Oh, geez, okay.
Right, so we need somebody who had that experience. And then I would say the postage, $234, that'll get reimbursed, but that postage is because we had so many short-term rentals that had to be re-noticed, because we had been continued since, since 2023, that you have to re-notice because people change, people move, so all the abutters have to be re-noticed. So I know poor Kate's been going crazy. All right, and that comes, we're at 234% of our budget. Well, but overall, we're at 58%.
58%, right where we should be.
Which is exactly where we should be. As John Arundel used to say, I always like to see a little bit of a cushion, so that if we're supposed to be at, we're 58% of the year, I'd really like to see us at only 53 to 55% of our budget, just in case unanticipated issues happen, but I'll take 58 for 58. Okay.
Well, and you do get a little nervous because you notice there's a lot of things that are at zero,
Right,
which you said, like,
yeah.
come in fast and furious
Come
at the
in,
end.
and now now we're over budget, so, whereas if they were coming in now, you might have the opportunity to say, you know what? We don't need those supplies, we don't absolutely need them, let's hold off on them and not buy them so that we can stay under budget for the whole budget. But I don't know that happens, so. All right. Any other questions about the drawdown? Anything additional you'd like to see, any other paperwork for the next meeting? Nan's like, I don't know what I don't know, so,
Exactly.
yeah.
Just, I guess a question, just because I'm familiar with the school at the end of the year, so it would be the end of June, their year-end fund balance, does the town do the same thing?
We do it in December, we get,
Okay.
well, actually,
So
you'll
there'll
end
be
up
a-
seeing it in January and February,
Yeah.
because they gotta wait for the bills to roll in
Right,
from
right,
December,
right.
but yeah.
Right.
So, and at town meeting, you actually, if you look at the annual report for 2020, if
Okay.
you ever need a town report, they're all right here.
Oh, okay, that's
So
good
there's
to
always, like,
know.
if we're here, we're like, well, what did it say in 2023? We can
Right,
pull them.
okay.
But it should have in here,
And do they have that contingency as well, that 2.5% that you can,
we're not held to 2.5%.
okay,
So the,
Up to
the
5,
state would
right?
actually like us to do 5. We
Oh,
we
okay.
typically do between 3.5 and 4
Okay.
usually. And I think this year was 3.72. 2024 fund balance retention, 3.72%. $418,849.
and is that typical?
No, generally it's usually a little more,
Oh,
but I think
really?
we had. I'm trying to think what we had happen this last year with the, I think because of the roads, some of the issues with the roads and FEMA
Fine.
not paying and,
Yeah.
the washouts
Yeah.
and those kinds of
Yeah.
things, we spent more money than
Yeah.
we would have, or thought we would have, so.
See, I guess that's where I struggle as a budget. You know, you budget, and I understand you have the capital reserves and all that good stuff. But to have so much money left over.
Which they use to
To pay your
generally buy
taxes
down
down.
the taxes.
No, I
Yeah.
get that,
Right, but I'm of the same mindset, don't tax me that heavily to begin with, it's my money, let me
Right.
keep it in my pocket, and that way then, like, we're budgeting $3 million, say, to run the town.
Right.
And really, you only need 2.5 million, but you're
Right.
putting in that 3 million because, you're kind of buffering things.
Right.
Maybe you could budget at 2.75 and let the taxpayer hold on to that $250,000. And that way, yes, there's still some money left in the unexpended fund balance,
Yeah.
but there's more money in the taxpayer's pocket, and our tax rate, not the assessment, the rate itself comes down. So
Right.
you're at $10 instead of $12 per
Okay.
thousand.
And I guess my other question, when you do your warrant articles, because what I noticed and I expressed concern to the school board is, they had a couple warrant articles that were contingent on having end of the year fund balance. So one in particular always bothered me, and because it was the special ed, well, I think you need to fund that. You need to fund it because, it just takes one student or whatever. So I don't think you should have it contingent, hoping you have money left over. Well, right, I mean,
I have no control over what they do.
exactly. And I have said this to them,
Yeah.
I expressed that I don't get how you could, and is that typical, is
But I
that
think
customary?
that's extra money. I think that's additional money that goes into a warrant article area or a fund
Right,
balance.
there were two warrant articles that were contingent on having, so in other words, we will fund this warrant article with the 20,000 or the 30,000, whatever it was,
Yeah, I don't have.
hoping that we have the end of the year fund balance. That tells me you plan on it,
You plan
right?
on having,
Yes.
well, maybe. if
And
no
so,
unforeseen
if it's something
circumstances
that's truly
happen,
needed, right,
then budget for it as
Exactly.
right,
opposed
which
to.
they're not doing.
Right, so I guess that would
then
be,
why are you asking for contingency if it's not
Right.
truly needed?
and then the parameters for the contingency, and what was the school board is,
Yeah, and I don't have the
I
school
think
board
contingency,
report
that,
with me.
I think it all should just be budgeted. Like if, for transparency's sake, if you're
Right.
wanting a certain amount of money in a special ed
Fund,
account,
right.
in case
a
of
reserve,
a move-in,
let's keep moving it, yeah.
then that should be transparent, like we always like to have at least $300,000 in that
Well, I
account.
think Jim
Exactly.
said that. I think he said that when they were talking about that one, is like
But then you wouldn't use contingency money, you would just say, this is what we need, cause we're $28,000
Yeah.
down in that account, so we need to put that back in.
I would have to go back and look
Well,
at the
and
wording for what those particular warrant articles are.
when I questioned it, they said, well, it hasn't always been it hasn't been voted. So, it hasn't been, the voters have said no to it.
True,
I
and
s-
so they're more likely to say yes if you think we'll get it, if there's money left over, we'll
Yeah.
get it.
I
And
mean,
maybe
that's
their,
I guess that's their MO, I don't,
Yeah.
they don't really explain it to me, but I just have a problem, and I didn't, with, you work a budget, and you do the best you can be off, and you can have extra money left over, I get that, but I think to count on extra money, to use it towards specific, and they've done this in the past at the school level. I don't necessarily know the town, is.
I don't know that we've done any contingent warrant articles, I don't remember
Yeah.
any.
Well, no, I don't remember ever seeing it for the
At the
town,
town.
but this past, year, there were two, for the school. And it's like, well, if you need that money, you say so. And then it's unanticipated funds, in other words, your boiler blows, that's what you use the money for. Am I right?
You do, but there are special rules and regulations about how you can access that money, so
Correct.
like with the town, we'd have to have a town meeting.
Correct.
So,
Well, see, they don't do that over there.
right,
have a
because then they have
special
access to the
meeting.
money, we have to have a special meeting, yeah.
We have to have a special school board meeting,
Meeting.
a hearing, so that the public can come before it can be expended.
Before it can be expended,
Yeah.
right. We have to have a vote.
Right.
The school board can still vote to do,
Yeah,
it doesn't need the town to vote,
No,
right, but we have to vote. So the school board just has to have a hearing and explain to the public what you're
What
doing.
you're gonna do
But
with
they
it.
can still do it,
Exactly,
no matter what the public thinks.
right,
Whereas the town can't.
right.
But yeah, I mean, there are
I
differences,
don't
there
know,
are,
I just.
there are benefits and,
Mm-hmm,
right? And I know the town voted to keep both boards the way that they are, so that the school board is the voting official, except for those things that go before the town with
Mhm,
warrant articles, and
mhm.
the town is still town meeting as opposed to
right, right.
voted all on warrant articles, so,
Yeah,
I don't know,
go figure.
go figure.
All right, I'm gonna hit the road.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
gonna say, anything else, cause
No.
then I can just adjourn this meeting. All right, well, I will accept a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second that?
All in
Okay.
favor?
Joe?
Hey.
Aye.
All right.
This meeting is adjourned and we will convene again, I gotta go look on the, where's my
The
calendar?
27th.
2027.
Awesome.
27th, Wednesday, the 27th at 6
If I
PM,
can zoom in, I'll try to zoom.
dependent on Linda, approving, saying that there's nobody else using the, should've looked over there. All right, we're adjourned, 7:45.
Did anybody watch tonight?